Hey, how's it going? Don't want to be very long. Um, don't want to be very long, but I wanted to talk about a what I think are overlooked. Some people don't overlook this, but then some people do. Well, maybe one out of these three people. A lot of people will invest in some lighting to change the ambience of the room and the mood and all that. Um, I see that in a lot of home studios where they have blue lights and red lights and all these nice lights to change the ambience of the room. I needed to get with the program. So I invested in some LED lights that you can change, which I thought was kind of cool. So that way, um, let me, um, so I can go, you know, change it to blue or whatever the case. So I just, you change the lighting. Let me change it back to blue. I'm gonna walk around here, change it back to blue, cause I kind of like that blue. Let me change it to red. Um, yeah, I might change it to red. Or that's kind of a cool color. I like that. Yeah, that's different. Okay, all right. So looks weird, pink. That might look a little um do 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 do. It might kind of have that. So it might have that kind of effect. Um, let me try a different color. Yeah, that might work. So I'm gonna go blue. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, there we go. That's kind of cool. Or I'm gonna go green. Let's go green. Or uh, let me go. I go yellow. I might go. Yeah, let's go blue. Okay. So I changed it to blue. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna leave it there. Um, so I like that LED. I like that the LED where you could change the different colors because you could ask your client, well, what color sets the mood for you. Some people like soft blue like that. Some people like the pink. Some people like the lavender. Some people like the red. Or you might have a combination of both. So I decided not only I'm gonna do my main lighting like that, but I'm also gonna do the side walls, which is pretty cool, right? Next one, the next one's gonna be the next thing that this is probably more overlooked than anything, and or maybe just me. Acoustic paneling. And there have been people that watch my channel say, "Man, you ain't got no acoustic paneling." No, because my whole floor is carpeted. Now, does that make it right? Because I don't have no acoustic paneling? I get accurate picture because one, my speakers are never against the wall, so I don't have these reflections changing the standing ways in the room here. And when you have them close to the wall, because you can start creating speaker placement is probably one of the second most overlooked important things you need to do in your studio. And one other thing I liked about these speakers, these are the Behringer Truths, is they have so does the JBLs. They have adjustments to just the SP, the dB levels of the highs and the lows to make adjustment according to the placement of the speakers. So I have adjusted. I adjust the. I adjust. What's the best word I can say? I made an adjustment for the speakers, and do I have? I hate to turn, with my because y'all want to get up and I have to show you an example. When I turn the board on, you can actually do a noise test. You get the pink noise and go. I can do that on this board, so I can check sound I can use the meter to check what's going on with the. That's how I did my speakers. I tested and I used the sampler to make small adjustments to the speakers, so I can so when they call sitting in a sweet spot when I'm listening, and because my MIDI controller on my control my DAW, I don't have to come all the way over here to the computer to stop and start the computer. A lot of times I use my fader port, or I can use the stop and go features on the, I can arm the track, solo the track, mute the track, make volume controls with the track, use the transport and the encoder, all right here controlling the DAW. When I'm using Cakewalk or Studio One or any of the DAWs, right here. As well as control if I'm using plugins or VST instruments, all right here. So, which allows me to just rotate from here this way so I can stay. So, anyhow. Last thing would be acoustic panels. I do want to get some acoustic panels, so I'm investing in acoustic panels this year, and bass trapping. I had bought them foam bass traps, but realized those are jokes. I need to get real bass traps, and I need to get real acoustic paneling. And I'm thinking about getting some of this furniture out here. It's gonna make a lot more space in here. Plus, it's gonna make a lot more space. Excuse me. Which I'm gonna make changes. So I'm gonna that cabinet. I'm gonna mount my TV on the wall over there. I'm gonna get a wall mount for the TV. Move that cabinet out, and then I'm going to I'm gonna get a cabinet where I can put my mics on. Oh, that was weird. I guess it's the camera's making this lighting adjustment. I guess it was because I don't know. Anyhow, so I'm gonna do that, as well as I want to get a cloud and some acoustic paneling, and that would definitely change the look in here as well. And lastly, another thing that's overlooked, that's probably of the most importance, is high-end cabling. Because I got a mixture of high-end cabling with a lot of cheap, like Hosa cables. And if you don't think that makes a difference to you, it does. You may or may not believe it. You're like, oh man, I don't want to spend that kind of money on Hosa cables. Because Hosa cable or Megami cables, whatever, because they're so expensive. Even if you don't have nowhere near as many outboard pieces of gear like I have, and a patch bay, and just the amount of cables, but it's of importance to the audio. So that's, and even if it's me buying, a few cables at a time, if I got, I'm going to be doing that, as well as an importance of a good star ground system. Especially if you have a set like mine, you need a star ground system. I already started making the star ground system. I'm going to finish that up, and I'll show you the star ground system. And the rod's going to be outside. I'm going to run a long star ground. That way, that's also everything that eliminate the noise as much as possible, so you get as much high-end quality recording as possible. So high-end cables, even if you only have a good Megami mic cable that goes from your microphone to your interface, what's $30 on a good mic cable with the trade-off of having no issues with the signal going from your microphone to your interface? Is definitely worth it. Even if you record that way, where you just go from your microphone to your interface and use the interface preamp into your DAW, that's gonna make a difference. It may not make a huge difference, but one, they're gonna last longer because they're better quality. There's nothing worse than dealing with a cable and all of a sudden you plug it up and you think something's wrong with the gear when it turned out it was just a bad cable. A lot of times we think when we plug cables to our gear and nothing's working, we think it's the gear. Most people don't realize you might want to test the cable. So there's a good thing to invest in a cable tester, which that's another piece of gear I'm going to invest in, is a cable tester. Because you'll be amazed with so many cheap cables, you'll be amazed how much they break internally because they're just not well made. It's just a fact. There's sometimes you can buy cheap cables, and you know you plug them up once and they never move. You know, you might plug it behind a piece of gear and it's been there forever. Yeah, it'll probably most likely work perfectly fine. But in the end, when you're constantly moving cables around, moving, you know, constantly moving and stuff like that, or you have to keep moving that cable, it eventually it'll fray internally, and next you know it doesn't work, and you're not getting any signal, and you think it's something wrong with the interface, or you think it's something wrong with the microphone or the interface, and not realizing it's just a bad cable. So that's gonna do it. Those are what I think overlooked important things you need in your studio. Other than that, that's gonna do it. Everything else becomes subjective when it comes to like studio monitors, choices of microphone, choices of preamps, choices of compressors, choices of DAWs, plugins. All that is subjective. That's why I made a video about just pick stuff. And it can get to the point where you can get really detailed about, you know, should I use LA2A on vocals? Or should I use 1176 on vocals? Or should I use a DBX on vocals? Or should I use a de-stressor on vocals or whatever? Should I use plugins on vocals? That just becomes, all that becomes debatable. So, but things that you can't, you know, whatever the case, like cables, acoustic treatment, those are important. I don't care what studio it is. Good cables, a good ground system, good acoustic treatment, those are a must in a studio. Home studio or in a facility that you're renting or whatever. Other than that, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a great one.